Hi, I'm Ray Baker. I'm here on behalf of the Tri Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I'm here with Congressman, civil rights activist, and perhaps most importantly, chapter brother, John Lewis. And we're here for this very timely and important conversation about the importance of the 2018 midterm elections. First and foremost, Congressman, chapter brother Lewis, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you very much, brother. I'm delighted and very pleased to be with you tonight.
So we know that voting is terribly important, and we know that although now we see people using different tactics, not necessarily literacy taxes and poll taxes, there are people who try to stop us from voting. Tell us about your experiences when you had folks trying to stop you from voting.
Well, during the 60s, during the 70s, even after the Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965, it was very hard and very difficult for many people, including myself, to register to vote. When I became 18 in rural Alabama, they were asked to pass a literacy test. But to count the number of bubbles in a bar of soap, the number of jelly beans in a jar. But we passed the Voting Rights Act, there were still efforts to keep people of color from participating. I've said over and over again, in spite of all of the setbacks and difficulties, we cannot let anyone keep us from participating in voting. The vote is precious. It's almost sacred. It is the most powerful, non-violent instrument or tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. If we fail to use it, we will lose it.
You talk about how sacred the vote is. Why do you think there were folks who tried so hard to keep you from voting?
There were people who knew in many towns, counties, and states that if we registered and voted, we could be elected to office. We could become mayors, members of the city council, members of Congress, even governors, maybe even President of the United States of America.
And so when we talk about voting, we talk about organizations. And one of the things that we know that groups in Alabama did back then were not just get folks to register to vote, but teach them about the issues and the candidates. How important is not just voting, but is educating voters.
You're so right. People did it. We did it. We had an organization called the Voter Education Project. And many of the fraternities and sororities joined in with us to help educate people and say, know your rights. In a sense, know your voting rights. Know something about your government, the power of the sheriff, the justice of peace, a member of the city council, a member of the school board, and encourage people not just to register and to vote, but also to get out there and run for office.
You talked about sheriffs and justice of the peace. How important are local elections?
Local elections are so important. You know, we think often about the national, the federal positions, but some of these local officials control everything. Everything. How much taxes are we going to pay? How much are we going to pay for water? They're responsible for keeping our streets, and our roads, and our highways clear. When there's an ice storm or when there's a flood, we can call on these folks. We can call on these people. And we need people of all different backgrounds and all different races in these positions that will be responsive. Whether they're a member of the city council, a county commissioner, called justice of the peace, the sheriff, a judge. And now all over our country, you see more and more people running for office at the local level, and there's some moving on up to become governor and mayors and members of Congress.
You talked about the diversity of candidates, and we know diversity to be a good thing in our mind, But it's more than just because we have a man or a woman, an African American or Hispanic or Asian. Explain to people who may not understand why it's very important to have a diverse body representing us.
It is so important that we have a diverse body in the city council, the county commissioner, the board of education, because we create coalition. The people coming from different neighborhoods, from different communities, can pool their votes, pool their interests, pool their resources, and get people in office that look out and care more of us, and not just some of us.
We talked about the Divine Nine earlier and the impact that all of the organizations had. And as a member of Phi Beta Sigma, I know you enjoyed coming together with your Sigma brothers. But how special was it for you when you see members of Kappa Alpha Psi, members of Iota Phi Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, and the entire Divine Nine family coming together around issues like voting and voter education?
When I see the fraternities and sororities all coming together, maybe under the umbrella of the Divine Nine, it gives me a great feeling. It makes me happy, make me very proud to know that people can stand up together, speak up together, and find a way to get in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble, to make things better for all.
You know, Congressman, a lot of people will say, listen, why would I? The last 20 years, state senator so-and-so's been in office. State representative so-and-so's been in office, and look at my neighborhood, nothing has changed. Why should I vote? I don't like this person or that person. What would you say to that person?
I would say to someone who have that attitude, don't give up. Don't give up on the local elected officials. Don't give up on the vote. It is powerful. If you want to change things, if you want to elect someone else, vote. Don't be so quick to count someone out. And you shouldn't just elect someone and forget about that person you elected. Stay in contact. Attend the meetings, the town hall meetings.
You talked about that, and that sounds like one of the important things that we don't often discuss when we talk about election. We'll quickly say, let's go vote, but we don't talk about what we should do once our candidates get in office. How does a good citizen stay abreast about what their city council person, state senator, or even congressman or woman is doing?
Well, you vote for a person, and then you hold that person accountable. The vote is powerful. You have the power to give, and you have the power to take away. You're so right, brother. So many times and on so many occasions, we go and cast our vote, and then we forget about the person that we elected. Even if you didn't vote for a particular person, but that person get elected, that person must also be responsive to your concerns, the need of your community, your county, your city, your state, your nation.
Congressman, what was the worst experience you've ever had when someone tried to stop you from voting?
Well, I think the very, very worst experience I had when I was trying to help others get registered to vote. In Selma, Alabama, we had a sheriff who was a very mean man. He would use an electric cat product that he would use on cows, on individuals. When people would try to go up the step to enter the courthouse to register to vote, we would push them down the steps. Women, teenagers, elderly men. He would use whatever he had to harass us, to beat us. And many of us were arrested. He was beaten and left bloody. On the march from Selma to Montgomery, I was beaten and left bloody and unconscious. I thought I saw death. I thought I was going to die. But the federal government responded, and President Johnson made one of the most powerful speeches any American president made in modern time, on the whole question of voting rights. and he signed into law on August 6, 1965. So there's not any excuse for anyone saying, oh, I'm not going to go and register. I'm not going to go and vote. We have to do it. We have to do it for our children and their children. Just do it. Do it for the people, the civil rights workers that were murdered in Mississippi, shot in Alabama. So another generation of young people won't go through what we're going.
Congressman, as deep and as heartfelt as that is, we would not be true to the African spirit of redemption and overcoming if we didn't end this with the question, what was your best and most proud experience when it comes to voting?
Well, my best was to be able to go and cast a vote for Barack Obama. And after he was elected, I was at Dr. King's old church. I stood up, jumped so high, I didn't think my feet were going to touch the floor. And the day of his inauguration, I walked up to President Barack Obama. And I said, Mr. President, will you sign something? And he wrote on it, a little piece of paper. It was all because of you, John. I said, thank you, Mr. President. He teared up, and I teared up. I will never, ever forget.
To so many, you are a civil rights icon. You are a hero. You are an activist. You are a statesman. You are a legislator. I simply say Blue 5 and call you chapter brother.
Well, thank you very much, brother. We all in this thing together. We must continue. Thank you.
So that's Congressman John Lewis, a man who literally needs no introduction. I've been Ray Baker, and on behalf of the Tri Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, we encourage you not just to register, not just to vote, but to make a plan. Make a plan to reach out to someone else. Make a plan to reach out to someone who you may not have thought to ask to register to vote, and see if they know who the candidates are, if they know the candidates' positions, if they know what's important in your city, your county, your town, or your state, and vote. On behalf of the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated Tri Sigma Chapter,